We got the GOAT in the house. 28 Olympic medals, 23 gold. But I think your greatest honor, Forbes is 109 years old, and we show the cover. We've only had one swimmer in the history of Forbes in 109 years on the cover. There he is from about 10 years ago. Back when you were 30, well, looking pretty good there. You look good. You don't look that much different. It's almost 10 years ago. That's great. That's great. Now, Michael, we were talking just now. Michael came about 10 years ago to Under 30 Summit in Boston, and we had probably the most notorious incident in the history of the Under 30 Summit, which was, I'll let you tell it if you want. But
it was insane. I was just talking about it coming down here from the house, and we were just supposed to do like this little, couple hundred people, a fun run.
Fun run on the Charles River, be nice.
Really nice in Boston. And next thing you know, there's like 2,000 or 3,000 people, and it was like a Diplo or like Kevin Hart run club or something, and I don't run, so it was wild. But everyone was scrunched together, and
a TV station. We said, all right, well, we'll get some pictures, and they told everybody in advance in Boston, hey, Michael Phelps doing a run on the Charles River. So
the run wasn't very long. Showed up. It wasn't very long though.
No, so then what happened? I was running with Michael, kind of to protect him, and you were with Dan Coe, who was the chief of state. He's running for Congress now. He was a marathon chief. These guys take off like, you want to see an Olympic athlete. He was like, bye, guys, boom. But welcome back under less crazy circumstances. We're super glad you're here. First, tell us, we got this huge audience here of young achievers. What I always love about your story, I mean, you're somebody where the difference between winning and losing was like 1/100th of a second, 5/100ths of a second.
Yeah.
How did you talk about like the kind of the discipline you needed, where the margin between everything and nothing was a blink?
I mean, for me is I guess if I go back and look at my career, is what could I do every day to get that much better? As Randall said, my races were won by 1/100th of a second, 4/100ths of a second, 8/100ths of a second. If you add up, I think it's 6. Everyone's going to laugh when I say this because my kids do. It's 6 or 7 of my medals. Combined winning margin is less than 1/2 a second. So for me, it was being in the right place at the right time. But being at the right place at the right time meant being prepared under the most amount of pressure that you can possibly imagine. For me, I had a chance every 4 years to win an Olympic gold medal. So my preparation, it was every day. And it was what could I do on the days that I didn't want to do it. So for me, on the days where I felt like I couldn't get out of bed or I just failed a test or this or that, whatever it might be, I have to try to get 10, 20, 30, 50% better because in the sport of swimming, if you take one day off, it takes you 2 days to get back to where you were. So for me, the reason why I had the success that I had was because I was the only swimmer to swim 6 straight years. I didn't miss a single day. Every Sunday, every holiday, it didn't matter. And why, people ask? It's because I wanted and expected different results. There was no blueprint for me to win 23 Olympic gold medals or win 8 gold medals in Beijing. It was what could I do again every single day. So for me, it's focusing on stroke, kicks, my streamlines, my turns, my finishes, this, that, and the other, because again, at the most pressure moment, what am I gonna revert back to? My habits, the habits that I create. And I think throughout my 20-year career, every time that I would go up to the blocks, I had a backpack that was filled with tools, things that I gained from practicing as much as I did, which allowed me the opportunity to be prepared. And again, I'm half naked standing on national television. So, but yeah, for me, it was what can you do every day? Because there is somebody out there that's willing to do those small things. And for me, I wanted to be that person.
Did you ever feel like, kind of like, we have a lot of systems engineers here, that you solved it as a system? Did you feel like you get to the point where it's like, I've got this? Or was it always evolving?
I think it was always evolving just because I was always changing who I was, right? Like for me, if you look at the partnership my coach and I had, that started at the age of 11 years old and finished by the time I was 31, right? So over a 20-year gap, naturally you change as a human being. So my coach had to adapt with me, and we grew together, right? Like he couldn't talk to me like I was an 11-year-old kid when I was 20. I learned how to talk back and have a voice. So we had to change and grow with each other, and I think, I've said this 1,000 times, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. There's not another person on this planet that could have coached me the way that my coach coached me. He knew exactly how to press my buttons every single day. I had the same exact trainer for 15 years. So by that, I mean guys that focused on my dryland stuff, but also focused on my recovery. So that's cold tub, Graston, cupping, all of those things I've been doing my whole entire career. So I built a team around me that kind of really helped me, and I trusted them. I know I was the one that was swimming, staring at the black line every day, but those guys were the ones that kind of prepared me and helped me be the best version of me.
I had yesterday, I was talking to a couple of people who just exited a company. We got a bunch of people here who've done that. And they're sitting there about the same age as you. They're right about 30. They just made a good amount of money. What do you do? Like here, you're 31. You've the best that ever was at what you did, but your whole life's ahead of you. How did you channel it? What was that feeling like, and how did you channel it?
I guess for me, it was kind of lucky. I retired twice from my sport, and then naturally, I kind of fell into the mental health world. For me, my mental health journey started because I didn't want to be alive anymore. And for me, I was like, okay, what can I do? How can I get help? How can I learn? And then I learned that there were other people going through the same kind of thoughts and things that I was going through. So I was like, okay, then I'll talk about it. And for me, that's been kind of my journey, is how can I lower the stigma around mental health? I mean, I'm sure there's a handful of people, if not more, out here that go through up and down roller coasters. So for me, it's trying to lower that and get the people the help and care they deserve. The suicide rate is not going down, and to me, that breaks my heart. I've been able to ask for help, and I think that was a hard thing for me as a male athlete to do. As a male athlete, we're supposed to be this strong, macho human that can do absolutely anything. But in reality, our mental health and our physical health should be looked at as one, right? Because if we're not taking care of one, then one is going to not be able to help you be the best version of you. So for me, naturally, my kids call me Aquaman. It fits. But it's because I'm trying to take care of my mental and my physical health. Because if I'm doing that, then I'm able to be the best version of me. So for me, my journey of trying to get the help and care that everyone needs, right. I hope I'm able to achieve that, but it's something that I will never, ever give up on.
Well, listen, you've been very open about it, and you've been an amazing role model in doing that and made it acceptable, especially if somebody's had so much success and physical success, because you could show that it has nothing to do with not being
Correct.
strong. What did you know that while you were? Did it take retirement for you to figure that out, or did you know that on your journey while you were in
it was in the journey for sure. I was somebody, I always make the joke that if they were giving gold medals out for compartmentalization, I would have had a lot more. I was really good at shoving things down and pretending everything was okay until it got to a point.
Wouldn't that be part of your, probably part of your success, though, is to be able to...
Yeah, but I think for me, when I look back at the journey that I had on my comeback from 14 to 16, when I finished in Rio, I was paying attention and focusing on my mental well-being, right? So for me, it was going to therapy. It was asking for help. It was going to meetings, right? There were certain things that I did differently during that lead up, during that for that Olympic Games than I ever had done before. And for me, during those games, I felt like a kid again. I literally felt like a kid in a candy store that was super excited to get up and to get into the pool and try to get back to where I knew I could be, number one in the world. And it was such a, I don't know, it was a fun journey, right? Like, was it painful in my body? Yeah, because I was a 30-year-old man trying to compete against 20-year-olds. It was brutal. But for me, it was fun, right? I was back to being myself, loving what I was doing in the pool. So yeah, I think for me, had I taken care of it, earlier in my career, who knows?
Yep.
But I think for me, I think the one thing I always say is I'm happy what I know now, right? Like I would never change what I went through because it's given me the opportunity to look at myself in the mirror and see somebody with gray hair and a man bun. I always make the joke that, I didn't see myself for myself back then. I saw somebody that had a pair of goggles and a swimming cap on, not somebody with feelings and emotions. I didn't see a human being. It was kind of like the Energizer Bunny. You just wind me up and I would go.
Did you, the way you described your physical kind of preparation, I mean, really, how much of that then translated to how you trained your mind? That discipline that you had for physical, was there any parallel for training your mind?
I think it's just getting into routines, right? Like, I think for me as an athlete, I'm such a routine-driven person, right? Like my whole life was scheduled for 20 years. Like I knew where I had to be at every single time, what time my flight was, this, that, and the other. If I had to go see my therapist or a doctor here, there, everything was handled, right? So I think for me, that was the most important thing, was just making sure I could find a routine that works for me, right? And naturally, you're going to have to change that routine through things that you go through in life. And for me, it's what I'm trying to do now, right? My wife and I have 4 kids. They're all under 10. And we're still trying to make sure we're being the best version of us too. So, finding those routines where we're taking care of our self-care is super important.
What, maybe the 60 seconds when you're sitting there about to start, talk about that mental process, because that's the combination of the physical and the mental, where you're sitting there, you're kind of waiting for this moment where that moment comes like that. How did you work through that?
There's that much that's going through my mind at that moment. Because if there is, then I'm not focused on the present moment that I'm getting ready to do, right? Like for me, if I'm thinking about, oh, I should have gone to this practice, or I should have worked on that better in practice, or maybe I didn't stretch enough, then I'm not in the moment. And for me, I always found that I raced with the most intensity when I was in the moment. And obviously, when you're prepared, that helps you even more. But for me, when I was racing, that was like a test, right? Like it got to show me what I needed to improve on. Because my goals, when I wrote my goals down, they were times that other swimmers on the planet, they didn't think they were possible, right? So for me, I was thinking of things that other people couldn't even imagine. So yeah.
Did you ever, when you were on the block, did you ever know you were going to win in a big race?
I would say most of the Olympic Games, like in 2004, yes. 2008, I was pretty I competed in 2008 when I won 8 gold medals at a probably 85%. I broke my wrist 6 months before the Olympics. Wasn't ideal. Yeah, no, I thought most of the time I felt like I could win, and I think I felt that because I could read my competitors better than they could kind of read themselves, right? Like for me, I could always see what they're doing in practice or kind of the splits that they're going.
Yes.
But also you can kind of read their face too.
Well,
but I was very confident again because of the work that I put in, right? If I could say one thing about my career, nobody outworked me on the planet.
Right. Well,
that's a fact.
Yeah, how many times does somebody get lucky? You make your luck, right?
Yeah. No, not a single swimmer outworked me throughout my career.
Yep.
No one.
So what kind of that elite athlete mentality can a company founder bring? Like what would be a translatable lesson?
I think it's, again, just taking the little steps, right? Because the little steps that you focus on are going to give you the opportunity to get to the big end of the road picture wherever you're going, right? Like for me, if I got focused on the goal time that I had written down and that was the only thing that I was focused on, then I get lost, right? There are so many small pieces that need to go into that puzzle for you to be able to reach your dream, right? So make sure you're focusing on the small things.
Right.
Greatness is a bunch of small things done well that's stacked on top of each other. That's it. It's consistency, right? Like, again, everybody always asks how I did it. I did things that other people weren't willing to do. That's it. For me, my goals and dreams were more important than anything. Anything my body felt, physical pain from going through the workouts in the pool and out of the pool, I didn't care because the goals that I looked at every single day mattered. That's what made me get up and do the things that I didn't want to do some days. So again, it's the small things that you get focused on because those are the things that are going to open up so many other doors.
Let's stay there and push that a little, because then when you achieve your goals, I think what made you exceptional is that you went and did it again, where that all makes sense. And then you achieve your goal, you win a gold medal, and, or you win a gold medal, you win 8 gold, and then you say, all right, now I'm going to start the cycle again. What is it, how do people here who are having a lot of success and they achieve something? I've raised for A round. How do you get that next turn?
I was obsessed with numbers, so how could I get faster? Right? Like, how could I push myself beyond my own beliefs? And I think a lot of the things that my coach taught me at a young age, I think really helped me do that. Taking the word can't out of your vocabulary, he took it out of my vocabulary at the age of 11. Because the second you say you can't do something, you're not going to do it.
Right.
You made it up in your mind. Right? So things like that, little small things like that really allow you to just be your authentic self.
Yep. How do you mentioned being able to look at I wouldn't want to play poker against you. You mentioned do you play poker? Yeah. I bet you're pretty good.
We just came from a charity event. Justin Timberlake has a charity event in Vegas, and there was a poker event this year, and my wife and I played in it, and yeah, she made it to the final table, and I got 11th. So I bubbled the final table. So one Phelps made it to the final table. Yeah, we enjoy the game.
That's great. So let's translate that. How do you see, like when somebody here is hiring somebody, how do you see a winner? When you look at somebody, whether it's at the poker table, across when 7 other people lined up, how do you see the winner? How do you see the loser?
I think it's trying to find out who has grit, who's going to be able to fight and get down to the dirty work and actually do things when it matters most. Who's driven. For me, I was goal driven. Again, like I was working in time, hundredths of a second. That's all I was chasing. How can you help somebody be the best version of themselves? Are they a good team player, right? Again, like you heard me talk about that. My career wasn't done just because I did it. I built a team around me, and that team stayed around me my whole entire career. Why? Because it worked, right?
Grass is not always
I don't know.
greener.
But that's what I think. Like you build yourself a team where you guys can work together. Because I can't say it enough. You can't do it alone.
Well,
notice how I said can't there too.
you walked away. It's why you're in Phoenix, right? It's why you're in the Phoenix area because your coach was at ASU. So,
yeah.
Which usually it's the opposite. Usually the big star says, "I'm going to stay here and I'll hire a coach to be with me." You chased your coach, right?
I'd rather look at this every single day. So for me, looking at a blue sky does wonders for my mental health. My wife and I have lived here for almost 11 years now, and I'll never forget when we first came here. I said, Coach, why didn't we come here earlier? Right? Like my 2012 Olympics probably would have been a lot better because I probably would have came to practice. Right? Like, just being outside for me is so magical, and for those first timers here in Phoenix, Scottsdale area, enjoy as much as you can. The food scene is amazing. The nightlife's awesome. Obviously, the outdoors is pretty special. If you like to golf, I do. Pretty amazing courses here too. But yeah, I'll never see myself leaving this area. This place is just a magical place. Like I said, we have 4 boys, and yeah, this is home now.
We've got a lot of people who are kind of chasing their own goal. This is what this entire conference is about. Yeah. What would you tell yourself or tell them, or you wish, maybe what's the one thing you wish someone told you when you were 25? Because that's a pretty decent age for this group.
Be you. I guess they're called Taylor Swift bracelets now. I have a bracelet that a friend's daughter made that said, be you. Be who you are. And don't be afraid to show that, right? I think we're all special in our own different ways, and that's why we've been able to do what we've done. So keep being yourself. For me, like I said, throughout my career, I was this swimmer, right? Like I was supposed to be that person. I am a swimmer, but I'm also a human being too. So yeah, I would just say be your authentic self and always chase to see what that truly is.
We listen. That's part of why we really like having you here. Is yes, you're a super achiever, but you're doing it in a way. You're giving back. You know, you're being a role model to other people. So we want to. I don't know if we have a little surprise here. We're doing something for the first since this special. Here we go. We're coming from this side. Brett here. This is the first ever Forbes Under 30 Role Model Award.
Thank you.
Surprise!
I love it. Thank you so much.
You were with us before. Well, while you were under 30, you continued to achieve. But the real reason that we wanted to do this for you is because, yes, you totally, were the greatest at what you did, but you did it in a way that you were very honest and open about helping others. And I think if I have to speak, that would be the lesson I have is that it's very easy when you're that, when you've had that much success to kind of, I'm the best, and your vulnerability, I think.
Thank you.
So thank you. So,
thank you.
I don't know if you have any some last words on that thought, because I know that to us is what makes you special. So
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, all right.
Thank you, guys.